Okay, today we're going to talk about visibility swap. Now, what is visibility swap? Think of Brad Pitt, or let's do Tom Cruise, right? Action star. He actually has a bad example because he does his own stunts. So Brad Pitt, he's jumping off a building and they replace him, and unbeknownst to us, the audience, they put in his stunt double to do whatever it is, right? That's what we're going to do here, this little pawn. So let's say right here, he does his jump, and I want him to be like sliced in half, just like right here. That way the head like kind of falls off or something, right? Since I don't have a rig where like the head coming off of this thing is even possible, what I'm gonna do is do a visibility swap. So we're gonna rename this. Sorry for the terrible naming. We're gonna call this Brad Pitt. That's our main actor. And right at the frame where I want our stunt double to come in, so I'm gonna have nothing happen there. So I'm gonna have frame 40. I want a duplicate of this. So I'm gonna press Control D. I have a duplicate. This is gonna be called dummy. So I have Brad Pitt and I have dummy. So the dummy is gonna be sitting there the whole time, but before I animate this, I actually need to model this. So I'm gonna make some changes to this. That way it looks like, maybe he's getting his head sliced off. So I'm gonna take this. This will be very, very rough. So I'm gonna grab those faces right over here. Holding tab, I could select those pretty quickly. Hold shift to add to my selection. I'm gonna model on this sucker. So go to modeling, edit mesh, detach. And now I'm gonna go to modeling toolkit, press separate. So now I've got two chunks, but when this goes flying, let's center our pivot on both of these. I don't want it to be hollow. So I am going to, make sure this is zeroed out because I'm going to move it up and we're just going to fill hole. Like I said, this is a very hacky way to go about doing this, but it's fine. Modeling, mesh, fill hole. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Edge, double click, press G. And last but not least, I'm going to move this back to 0. So now this is just sitting there. I've got the top, I've got the bottom. Since I press separate, it gave me a group, which is nice. I really need to clear my history on these objects. So I'm gonna select them, Alt-Shift-D as in Delta. Cleared my history. Let's do that on the group too, Alt-Shift-D. Cleans things up, makes Maya happy. We've got the dummy. I'm gonna center the pivot here. We got the top, we got the bottom in case we wanna animate those separately, and we have the dummy. This is going to be sitting there the whole time, and right at frame, whatever frame we picked, I think 40, we want this guy to be turned on and we want the other one to be turned off. So let's do this one step at a time. Actually, I'm gonna press H on my dummy, just so we don't get confused. So Brad Pitt, I'm gonna go to frame 40, and then I'm gonna set the visibility to 0, or type in OFF, off, or 0, and then I'm gonna press S in this case. So he is on, and then he turns off. We're gonna do kind of the opposite. Let's press H on our dummy. At frame 1, we want the group of this guy. Now we'll just set this to 0 because we want him off. We can press S if we want. We're gonna go to frame 40. There are some cases when you'll just right click the word visibility and then key selected that way, but S should work. On frame 40, we'd like this to be on, press S. Take a look at this. The dummy is selected, right? That's what's highlighted. That's not my dummy, that's not my dummy, that is my dummy. So let's do the same thing for Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is selected. That is not Brad Pitt anymore, he's disappeared. But if I don't have anything selected, we can't tell that I've actually have this little stunt double to hop in here, and that allows us to just do whatever we want, right? So now, instead of animating on Brad Pitt, we are animating on the dummy, our stunt double, the group, and then we got the head and the body. So let's pretend this little knife or something comes in here. This little cube is gonna slice his head off. We're gonna get that into position. Let's press W, V as in Victor, snap it over there. Let's see where this little cut is. There we go, that'll work. This thing is going to come over starting at 40, and let's do in whatever, 4 frames, this thing's gonna slice all the way through. And then with the head, we'll just have a little pause. So now nothing's happening. And now we can animate this head. So let's go ahead and have it slowly slide off right until we get to the edge. And then I'm gonna have it like fall over. Actually, let's do something like halfway. So it's gonna slide off, and then we can just have it quickly. If I wanted to move the pivot point, I could. That'll make my life easier, but I'm not gonna. Let's just rotate this way. Press it down, something like that. Press S, see how that looks. Not good. We also want to bring him down and out, probably. And then it's just going to fall. And we could animate this a little bit better if we wanted. You get the idea. Okay, let's play, watch our animation. Here we go. He jumps, slices him, and then his head falls off, right? So the reason we did that visibility swap is we already have an animation with Brad Pitt. We don't want to change the model. I didn't want to really come in here, slice this model, and risk screwing things up. I don't have a rig that has that capability. Like, I don't need to worry about all that, and after the fact, I can just animate this guy's head coming off with a visibility swap. So now you can do this with rigs too. If you have a fully rigged character, you can do visibility swaps. No problem. Hopefully this was super helpful and you can use this in your animations.